Hello and welcome! This is Mouse Gunner, and we're back with some more Motorsport Manager. And in between this video and the last, I've been doing some thinking about how I want to go forward with the team. And I definitely need to address some of our staff deficiencies. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. It's obviously our one mechanic that needs replacing, at least in my mind. Now, in the past, I went over after mechanics that maybe were a little too good for my team, and how much money I was asking them for was a little too low, but I was going off of what our current mechanics are making, which is really, honestly, not very much. Let's see if we can find a mechanic, preferably one that's unemployed, that maybe isn't quite so high up in ability right now, but maybe has good potential in the future. So I'm going to look for somebody that has around about 2 stars, but good potential. So what I'm looking at right now, we're unemployed, right? Yeah, we've got Ellen McBride here. We've got Toby Hart. We've got Alessandro, pretty much all these guys here with 2 stars. Now, Ellen McBride has a lot of good potential. So does Toby Hart, and he is good right now. So let's take a look at him. So the one thing we want to do is we want to get somebody that's good on reliability, because that's the one thing that Stephanie Thomas currently is working on as far as improving our parts. He's better in pit stops, not quite as good at part fixes and chemistry, but not too far off. And considering his better potential overall, he could have more than 3 stars of potential. I think it's worth pursuing him. And he's better in a lot of other regards, and I definitely want to improve. Oh, it's Stephanie that gives us the fast pit stop ability. I kind of figured that would be the case, and we don't know, right? Or maybe we do. Not really sure how these abilities work for the mechanics. But I definitely like this guy as a potential upgrade. So let's go ahead and approach him and see what we can do. Well, we could go back, though, and take a look at the other choice, Ellen McBride here. All right, so she's slightly better in reliability, so she could take over that job. Pit stops is better. All right, so she has this ability possibly. She's young. You know, maybe it's because she's older, even though she still has potential. Maybe she's already unlocked these bonuses, and these younger mechanics. Higher engine modes no longer impact condition. Ooh, I like her abilities. You know what? We might approach her instead. So part fixes, again, is a little bit down. Concentration high. Reliability is better. Chemistry better. Performance better. So she's better in most regards outside of part fixes. So yeah, I'm really tempted because I like this ability now. I love the fast pit stops. Those are fantastic. And this ability is great too. The engine expert. So let's go ahead and approach Ellen McBride here. She seems like a decent upgrade. Not necessarily right now, but in the future she will be. And I'm willing to pay her for it. So let's approach her. She's interested. Okay, so currently we're set for... She'd like a long contract. I'm more than happy to give her that. We're set for 10,782. I don't know if that's a realistic contract offer or not. In the past... I thought it was, and I even offered them more than that, and they were like, oh, I'm insulted. She doesn't seem like she is, you know, really as demanding as some of the other guys we looked at, but I'm still going to pay her more than my current mechanic because that makes sense. So my current mechanic makes around 13,000, and this is a definite upgrade, so I'm going to pay her, let's say, around 21,000. She says wages are fairly important to me, so she shouldn't be too demanding. She does want a signing bonus, so we'll give her a decent one. Let's say 12,000. That's probably more than she's expecting. And then bonus size isn't very important to her, but we'll give her a little bit of something. So if we get 10th or above, she gets 6,000. We'll see what she thinks about this. I honestly think I'm giving a contract more than she's expecting, but she has good potential. I think the other guy we took a look at might not be a bad addition either, but... we'll first approach her. Now, we haven't actually scouted her, so maybe there's some things we don't know about her. But let's give her that proposal. And I am going to eat a brake clause cost here. All right, so now that we've done that, we've approached Ellen McBride here with a nice offer. I really love some of her abilities here. And then the other guy I kind of liked was Toby Hart. He's a little bit better right now, but he doesn't have the same potential that Ellen McBride has. Let's just see in comparison what kind of contract he would... Well, you know what? We'll wait on that. Okay, so let's talk about some of the other things I want to do. So, right now, I've been doing a lot of parts building, and I honestly think I'm going to move away from that. Instead, I'm going to focus more on improving parts, because that's free. Your mechanics do it. It doesn't cost you anything to do that. Whereas building parts is pretty expensive. So I think this is probably going to be the last part we build for the meantime. And I also, I think, have learned from some of my mistakes in the past. So if we go to improve parts here, one thing I kind of didn't understand is I didn't understand what the red line meant when I built this part. So I went for reliability bonuses for the part because I didn't understand that you could improve reliability, because I didn't understand that this screen was here. I guess I missed that part in the tutorial. So now that I'm aware that this is here and that we can improve reliability of any part we want, just as long as we have the time to do so, I realized that this was a mistake because I didn't know what the red line meant. So when I got this part, I had a bonus of reliability and a bonus or an increase in the red line. And I was thinking, you know, cars, red line is how high you can rev the engine. So I was thinking a bonus to that is good. I didn't know how I could get that through brakes, but I was like, oh, that must be good, right? Well, no, that's not what it means, and I wish it was a little bit more clear on this. The red line is this red zone here of when the part starts to be in trouble, it could have the potential of breaking. And as you can see, that red line is significantly, or that red zone is significantly larger on this part. That's because I went with that. So I increased the overall reliability of the part, but at the cost of making the area that the part could potentially break at much higher up. So in the end, that was actually probably a bad decision. It means that I didn't have to improve the reliability of the part with my mechanics, but the mechanics do that for free. So honestly, this was a mistake. And now that I know that, I'll try and avoid that in the future. And we may end up not using this part. I don't know if you can sell parts, but definitely that's something I'm gonna now realize as an issue. So what I want to do here is I want to get as many parts up in reliability that we're going to use right now as possible. And we've got the suspension almost 100%. And we only have 18 days before we have the next race. And as you can see here, low speed corners is crucial. And that's probably going to mean there's going to be a lot of abuse on my front wing. So I want to get the reliability of that up. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel the suspension reliability upgrades. And we're going to start working on the front wing. And I also noticed that sometimes your bar changes here, so you have to be mindful of that. And then I would like to maybe switch in and get the rear wing worked on. And I also need to work on reliability of the gearbox that's going to be coming in soon as well, that we're going to be working on. So that's pretty much it for now. We're improving the parts some, and that's what we're going to focus a lot more on in the future. Once we get the reliability where we want, and once we have built all the parts we want, we're going to start just focusing on improving the parts, because that you can do for pretty much free and not have to spend any money on it. Okay, now that we've said all that, let's go ahead and continue on. All right, so we've got some things in our mailbox here. We have finished a scout report, Rick DeGraff. Oh, wow, he's really good, and he gets paid quite a lot of money, so probably not somebody I'm going to be able to take, although his contract only lasts 7 months. I doubt we'll be able to afford him. And speaking of contracts and lasting 7 months, let's take a look at our drivers and their contracts. So right now, Mustafa Al-Sadat is our best driver, just because he's going to grow with his potential. And he has, as a matter of fact, grown slightly. I think it would probably be a good idea to maybe renew his contract. We might have to pay him more now, but I think if we wait until his contract expires, his potential will have gone up and he will be worth more. So let's see about it. So right now he makes $244,000. He's interested. So let's start negotiations here. All right, so he's worth 244,000. Wages aren't very important to me, he says. My status is fairly important. So he is our number one driver, right? And he says my status is fairly important. So we have a couple of choices here. If your drivers have equal status, neither is promised priority. They will expect to be treated the same as their teammate. Or we can say he's the number one driver. The number one driver will expect to be your team's main driver. This means they will be expecting new car parts to go to them first, as well as priority on the track. Now, technically, this is true of him now. But you know what? I'm not going to do this because he wants a short contract and it says end of 2016. No, I'm not going to do this. We'll just wait until his contract runs out because I don't think that would actually extend his contract any. If anything, I might be able to save money, but I honestly am having a hard time judging where, like, the contract, where a viable contract is at this point. And again, I think that's something that can be improved in this game. We also finished our gearbox, so we're going to have to take a look at that. Because in Football Manager, when you talk to a player, when you're offering them a contract, they tell you what they want. In this, they don't. And that, I think, really does need improved because it makes it hard for you to negotiate with them because you give them a contract that you think is reasonable for their skill and how much they're making now. And then they come back and they're like, oh, I'm insulted. And then you're pretty much screwed because they don't even say improve it this way or that way. They're just like, oh, I'm insulted. And then you have like one more chance to guess what it is they want. And you obviously don't want to overpay people. Okay, so it's time to give this guy a new part. And that new part is the gearbox, which isn't very reliable right now, but we'll try and improve that. We'll switch that over. And managed to improve the parts here 87%. That's pretty good. And we have 13 days until the race, so I think we have plenty of time to try and work on the reliability here. So, and none of the... Okay, yeah, so Rogers is already driving with the gearbox that is the better one, because we're improving that one just very slowly. All right, now let's go to improve parts. We still have the 20 all the way over towards reliability. First, we're going to need to cancel the current gearbox reliability and go after the new one. So let's improve that reliability. And I guess I'll go ahead and switch over to the rear wing because I'm just afraid that it's not going to switch. It's not going to stop time when I have finished reliability improvements. Okay, so that should be good. Let's go ahead and continue. All right, so why did we stop? Is it because we proved something? Or is that just a set amount of time that it advances? Probably. So, okay. And we have improved the acceleration overall of our car by adding in that new gearbox. And, as a matter of fact, how much better is it? Pretty good. All right, so let's just continue on again. Oh, I see. There was going to be a race. Okay, so this is Motorsport World Motorsport Championship Series. Oh, we have another one person with a neck injury. That's another thing that when the race that happened, I didn't realize, we were in 8th and then suddenly Sadat started doing really badly. And I thought it was because there was a parts breakage. I think it was because he got injured. And I didn't realize that at the time, but I think now I realize that the reason he suddenly started doing really badly is probably Maybe a parts breakage caused him to, get his neck whipped or something, or maybe some debris hit him in the head and injured his neck or something. But he definitely got injured, and that's why he suddenly started doing really badly, which that makes sense. Okay, what do we got? Okay, so she's not insulted. That's good. All right, so she is delighted with the race bonus and the other things. She is a little impatient, though. So we have last chance. So she'd say, I prefer a signing on fee. So she's not happy with the one that we have right now, and she's not happy with her wages. I'm willing to offer her as much as it will allow me to offer her. And as much of a signing on fee as it will allow me to have, because I want her really badly. I'm willing to pay for it. If she says no at this point, I don't know what to say. I did my best. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue. I don't know. I mean, she didn't seem like she was insulted in email. All right, and if that doesn't work, I guess we'll move on to somebody else. Okay. She's considering it, so we'll just go ahead and move on. Okay, we got stopped again. We're still 8 days away, so there must be something else going on the calendar here. Let's see our parts. Make sure we've got everything going okay. So we're up to 84% here and 61% with the gearbox. Hopefully we can get it up high enough. Okay. And I want to check this every time we have a stoppage, just to maybe switch from rear wing to front wing. So I'm going to do that now. We're going to switch to the front wing. Because I think that's more important for this race. But I'm kind of going back and forth just to make sure that we get all of our parts reliability up. So we have the Asia Pacific Super Cup doing a race. Don't really care about that because that's not our current championship series. Okay. I don't know if any time really passed there. No. All right, so we'll just continue here. All right, contract proposal. All right, she accepted. We probably overpaid her, but I didn't want to lose her. Okay, let's go to the staff box. And we will sign her on. Now, I don't know if we can have extra race mechanics, to be honest with you. So we might have to get rid of one. So we'll sign her. And to proceed, you need to select a mechanic to fire or replace. So we'll be replacing Stephanie Thomas. That's going to cost us $64,000 to do. But I think it's necessary. And we'll go ahead and do that. All right, so it's going to cost us $94,000, $30,000 for the signing bonus, and $64,000 for breaking contract with Thomas. We're going to confirm. There we go. We've got our new mechanic who is currently slotted. Let's go actually compare these two mechanics. So compare, and I want them to compare to, you know what? Probably the easiest way to do this, just go back to our staff, is do details, favorite, go back to staff, compare, and then you can go to favorites and compare. All right, so who do we want to have be our which one do we want to work each of the drivers. So right now, she's better in concentration. He's better in part fixes, better in pit stops, same in reliability, he's better in chemistry, and then she's better in overall performance. This makes me torn because part of me says put her on our number one driver. But his better chemistry, I think, is better for our young driver, just because right now their chemistry is not great. Refueling is 50% faster. Okay. Well, I think I'll keep them the way they are for now. Let's just double check. Driver details. So you're going to be that person's mechanic. And then Alex Rogers has McBride as his mechanic. I'm tempted to switch them, but I think that might be damaging to my number one driver. All right, well. Okay, so we can swap them now. I think I'm going to give her Mustafa. I think this is a plan for the future. It might cause some chemistry issues, but I think that's a good idea. So that should have switched things up. So let's just double check. Oops, that's not what I want to do. Driver details. He's oh, he's not going to get better in time for the race. That's unfortunate. Okay, so any case, let's take a look. Mail. Great to have joined you here at Archer BMR. Looking forward to getting to work on improving the car. Okay. 20-year-old will reportedly be working with Alex Rogers, although we just changed that. So his reporting is wrong already. All right, so let's take a look at our actual... Yeah, see how much our staff just went up because of that. I think eventually we probably want to improve our lead designer as well, because he has no potential in the future. But for now, the cost to break his contract will be very high. I think we just go ahead and we let things ride. All right, so I think we can go ahead and continue. All right, we're right before the race here. And let's go to the cars. I think what improvements we're going to get are pretty much done here. So we might as well let them ride. But we got the gearbox up to 81%. Not too bad. All right, so sponsor select. I think we're going to be conservative here and go with 13th or above, because I don't know if this track we're going to do very well on, because acceleration is crucial. That's something we're still kind of weak in. And top speed is also useful. And again, that's kind of a weakness of our team. So I don't expect that we'll do necessarily great. We just got a new race mechanic, so we're still feeling out the team. Now, part fitting, I think we already did that, but let's just double check that we've got the right parts on the right people. So right now, he's got the best brakes, and he has the second best brakes. We've got, well, we don't have much of a choice there. He's got the better gearbox, and they both have the same suspension right now. Okay, pretty much I think we're good to go for that. So let's hit Not sure actually how we go back to the screen we were just on. Oh, there we go. All right, it's time to jump into the race. And I think we're just going to be doing practice here in this video. We had a lot of staff things to do. Hopefully I can do a better job setting up the car this time around. But I think in the last race, maybe it was the limit of the actual parts we had on the car that made it kind of impossible to do that. Alright, well, for sure going to be using Sadat and Rogers. Our setup. Let's go to Rogers first. Alright, so we're going to need to adjust the downforce quite a lot here. You know, I think I misread this bar here. I always thought that this was low and this was high, but it's actually the other way around. It's kind of maybe not intuitive. You would think low would be on the left and high would be on the right, but now I see if I actually read what that says. Okay, understeer. We want a little bit more oversteer here, it looks like. See if we can just balance that a little bit with our camber and tire pressure. I don't like going too crazy with this kind of stuff, and mostly like to work with the suspension. That might be a good first setup. Gear ratio, we need to go more for top speed, and I was already kind of aware of that. That might be our initial setup, or we max it out. Yeah, we'll max it. We'll see how that does. Again, I think our top speed and acceleration is going to be a little bit of an issue and prevent us from doing all that well. Tire choice. It's supposed to be sunny, both practice and the race. We no longer have the quick pits for Rogers, so we're going to be playing a little bit more conservative with him. So we'll just be doing normal softs for him. And for Mustafa here, we need less downforce, okay. That looks like a good setup for now. We need more oversteer. I think that's going to be the initial setup. Now, speed balance is a lot different here. Need more acceleration on this car. We might bring the suspension around here a little bit. You know what? I think that's going to be good for now. That's what I'm going to try anyway. And we're going to be a... I think we're going to go with... I'm going to do the super soft just so that we learn the tires maybe. But let's go ahead and confirm that. Okay, I think we're ready to go. Take practice. Because we want to obviously fine-tune this. Alright, so send out Mustafa here. We already pretty much have everything we need set up. So you go ahead and send out. And you, same thing. Send out. Okay, away we go. We'll just speed through the practice and try and keep an eye on what they have to say about the setup. Alright, so far nothing. Steering is a bit dodgy, boss. Can we change the setup? The aero setup feels fantastic. Alright, so one positive, one negative. No other feedback yet. We're running way too much angle on the wings guy. Okay. So he wants a less downforce. The handling is spot on, guys. So far, Rogers is pretty pleased with the setup, so we have to see what he thinks about the acceleration or the gearbox setup. The handling isn't responsive enough. All right, so Sadat hates pretty much everything about his current setup. And you have a less of a balance towards top speed. Okay. So he wants us to back off a little bit. Gotcha. All right, so we're pretty much dead on with Rogers' car. So they should have one more lap. Then we'll make those changes. All right, they are burning through the tires, so... keep that in mind. All right, let's slow down here a little bit so we don't lose too much of our practice time making the changes. Okay, we're going to be sending him out. So very poor downforce, poor handling, okay speed balance. So he's not too displeased with that. All right, so we've got our super soft tire knowledge. So I think we're going to switch him to soft tires. All right, so downforce. Looks like we have to get more, although I thought he said he wanted less. Something like that. And then we don't want to mess up the acceleration too much, so I kind of want to get that back on. Not actually sure how we need to change handling. Do we need it up or do we need it down? I think maybe just slightly up, right? Well, we'll see. This actually might be a good setup here. I mean, he's okay with the setup where it was. But we might have it a little bit more dead on. Alternatively, I could bring it back to where it was and try and get more of a reading from him. The one thing I'm just not sure of is how to deal with the handling. Do we want more or do we want less? Well, I'll do it more oversteer. We'll see what he says. If it is still poor, then we'll go the other way. Downforce, I think we definitely went the right direction. So let's just send him back out, because I think that's pretty much all we need, except we want him on softs now, so we can get some good knowledge of soft tires. And out you go. Rogers is on his way. All right, so we got Rogers in. Let's send him out. So he said good. And he hated the top speed. So he wants that much reduced. Okay, well, that's easy enough. Let's say to there. And we're not really changing the other thing, so he shouldn't be unhappy about that. Let's go ahead and send him out. And away we go. So let's go to Sadat here. And we're just going to watch their responses to this, because this is probably all we're going to get before the race. So I'm more concerned about what Sadat has to say about his changes. Rogers, I think we have dialed in. Tweaks are to the downforce are great. Nice job with the setup. Good. Aero's feeling great right now. Okay, it's just good stuff. Although I don't think we needed to change his aero, so that doesn't matter. We're actually not doing too bad with Sadat as well on the track. 11th is one of our better performances. Steering is weird. Shouldn't we run longer ratios? Okay, so he wants more top speed. I'm trying to remember that. He's feeling superb here, guys. All right, so that's still, we already knew that. Alright, so practice is ending. Let's see if they have anything to say before that happens. No, unfortunately not. Oh, we should tone down the aero setup. It's far too high. Okay. That's what he has to say. I thought I improved it. I might have made it worse. Alright, well, we got no word from Rogers on whether or not that was the right setup or not. But as far as practice goes, that's actually one of our better practices. We usually end near the bottom, and Mustafa actually had ended more towards the middle, so his car might be great for this race. Let's go ahead and get in here. Okay. The issue was okay, they didn't like our whatever. Alright, so we're going to be in the race, and that's going to be covered in the next video, so I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. This is Mouse Gunner, signing out.